I saw this video today of KSI speaking about the KSI and Jake Paul fight. And this clip is pretty much a nothing burger for the most part. But I found something that was like, well, you probably shouldn't say that, and happened to speak on it, and we'll talk about it in a second. But the main point was, apparently, there's some still love lost between either myself and Misfits or Misfits and myself. And it wasn't even like bait. You know, I think I'm pretty decent when it does come to throwing out the bait. It wasn't even that. I was just simply stating something that I didn't think was a good idea for KSI and now I guess Mams Taylor to do, but we'll take a look at it. In a little segment I like to call, you probably shouldn't have done that. What do I mean? The breakdown. Let's go. This is the clip. I guess KSI's put out a new video, and I guess he is looking at or looking up some stuff on Reddit, which is normal. KSI, Reddit video, you know what I mean? Normal stuff. But let's take a look and let's see what he has to say.
185, the same as Tommy Fury. Okay, if you can't make it, then cool, I'll just wait. Enjoy fighting heavyweights. Continue fighting heavyweights, brother. You're not a heavyweight, okay? If you want to continue fighting.
I agree with KSI, by the way. Jake is not a heavyweight. Jake, in my opinion, shouldn't be fighting at heavyweight. Doesn't make any sense to me, but I don't think he's going to be doing it for the foreseeable future. I think he's fighting Mike at heavyweight, and then he will come down. He's generating so much mass, to go to heavyweight that he can't completely come down to a weight that he says is impossible. I tend to think he can make, just doesn't want to make, unless there were like Conor McGregor fight, Canelo, whatever, which is the 185 that JJ's asking for. But here's why I think Jake's not an actual heavyweight. One, because he's just not. I would say Jake's probably most optimal to him, and from what we've seen at 190. 190 is where I think he should be. But this is why I didn't think Jake was a heavyweight. Here's Jake standing between two actual heavyweights, buddy. Now, granted, heavyweight boxing is you know, gotten bigger over the years. Mike Tyson was a smaller heavyweight, but this is crazy, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, that looks like a child in between two grown men. So, no, I agree with KSI. Jake is not a heavyweight. And again, I don't think that Jake is going to continue fighting at heavyweight, right? I don't think that's the case. I think he wants to be a cruiserweight. I think his optimal weight is 190. I do think he could, if absolute need be, and that was the only fight that was there for him and a crazy amount of money, 185. I just don't think he likes how he performs there. We've been over that.
I'll chill 185. I'll be fine, people. Left, right, and center, from the Amir Khans to the Floyd Mayweathers to whatever.
Run that back turbo.
Amir Khans to the Floyd Mayweathers to...
Is KSI setting up a Floyd Mayweather fight? I'd be down to watch it. Here's my theory, okay? This is a very much conspiratorial theory. Got me? Okay? Conspiratorials, okay? I don't know if Misfits and or Cowboy Man Mams Taylor, Callie Sauerland, I don't know if they are incommunicado with Netflix. I know Jake is. If you are Netflix, right, and you are going to get into the business of boxing in this crossover world and potentially further into the business, right? But they're getting into the entertainment business with WWE. This is conspiratorial Wade, because I don't even know if this is possible or if any of what KSI said is actually being talked about or it's just something he wants to do. After you get Mike Tyson, who was the biggest draw potentially of all time, why would you not want to go after Floyd Mayweather next? But then again, if KSI is talking about fighting him, it would most likely be on DAZN because of their contract and the fact that they're there. I'm just wondering if it would be possible, but it probably, now that I'm thinking about it, it probably wouldn't be. But KSI versus Floyd Mayweather, KSI versus Amir Khan, I would say, yeah, I'm excited about those fights. Those fights are the picks you want. Now, granted, I wouldn't put KSI up against Amir Khan right now. I feel like that's a little bit of a disadvantage to him. Floyd Mayweather, I feel like you know what you're going to get, but maybe KSI does the unthinkable, probably not. But still, I like those fights because they mean something, right? KSI, Floyd, got the Deji involvement. You know, you beat my little brother, blah, blah, blah. And also, it's Floyd Mayweather. Amir Khan, you know, UK guy, battle for the UK, influencer versus whatever. It still gives you a bit of influencer boxing feel. So if KSI is looking at those type of fights, then yeah. So again, KSI says 185 pounds. Jake, if you want it, great. If not, I'm not moving up. So he's sticking to what he said he was going to do. Jake's probably going to stick to the way he said he's going to do. And we're never going to get this far. But that's kind of what I expected. I didn't know that KSI was thinking about Floyd Mayweather, but I didn't expect anything different from this answer.
I'll just be in my own lane, do my own thing. And then when you decide to finally man up, or by force, essentially, because there's only so many heavyweights you can fight until you actually have to fight a real boxer. Yeah, I'll be here waiting. No,
I think he has to mean cruiserweight, because Jake, I don't think Jake is intending on fighting at heavyweight for any other period of time other than the Mike Tyson fight.
Still training, you know, still have a fight here and there. It'll be exciting. And yeah, just do my own thing. Jake Paul decides to actually fight at the weight he normally is at rather than just bloating himself and, you know, eating whatever, and I don't know, maybe even doing a little whoop whoop. He might have acne on his.
Alrighty, that is where we have to stop the video, ladies and gentlemen, because this is not the first time that KSI, and we'll get into later, some other people from Misfits have accused Jake, or at least insinuated, that he is potentially using PEDs. Right? Watch it again.
Eating whatever, and I don't know, maybe even doing a little whoop whoop. He might have acne.
A little whoop whoop. The fact that KSI does it on his arm makes me think that KSI has probably never taken a PED in his life, right? But this is what I said. People got very upset, and from what I said, derived that I was accusing KSI of using PED. That is not the case. I have never once accused and or even thought of any way that KSI was using PEDs. His body doesn't look in any way, shape, or form unnatural. His performance doesn't lead you to believe that he's on some sort of rocket fuel or anything like that. So no, that's not what I was insinuating. People missed the point of what the tweet I made was. But let's take a look at the tweet. It said nothing surprising here, but guys sticking to, or excuse me, both guys. I can't read and I can't write. We'll find that out in a second. Both guys sticking to the weight they want again. But I will say it probably isn't the best idea to bring up people using PEDs when a guy from your gym and fighting on your show just popped with enough synthetic testosterone in his body to fuel the whole. Because to me, that's not a great look. Jake has been WA.D.E tested, yes. He's been tested in every single fight he's in. I don't know, honestly, about KSI, and we'll get to that, but it's again, not me accusing him of anything. I need to let you guys know what the point of the tweet was. The point of the tweet wasn't to say, oh yeah, so you're on PEDs. That was not it. The point of the tweet was, if you are going to act as though you are taking PED usage seriously, I mean, yeah, okay, he recorded it before arms got caught. You can give some grace for that. But if you're going to say this stuff, and it's going to come out, if you have a promotion that also employs fighters, and multiple times fighters have been caught using PEDs, and also one of those guys is in your gym, the accusation rings a little hollow, right? Like, oh, yeah, maybe he's on some PEDs. If it's said as a joke, then cool. But if it's a continued thing from KSI, and also we'll get into Mams as well, pause, then it doesn't, it rings like, oh yeah, we want people to think that we care that Jake is either on or off PEDs, and we'll throw that accusation out, but when it comes to our stuff, there's nothing going on over here, even though there clearly is. I don't think it's a great idea to be doing that. And that's a jab he can take at Jake. But I also can have my opinion on the jab. I'm not saying he can't say any of this stuff. But again, this is just me popping out to say, hey, I don't think that's a good idea. And by the way, I would say the same if Jake was like, yo, I bet KSI's on the juice. Because what was pulled up a second later was, oh, Jalen Love popped for PED. Now again, I will say, for clarification, this is not in any way a dismissing of that claim. It's true. Leon got popped for using PEDs. You had a diuretic, the same sort of thing that I think, we can't confirm, I think the same type of thing that Ryan Garcia got popped for. I think Jalen Love got popped for trying to use a diuretic to cut weight. But I can't confirm that, so that's an allegation. It's alleged. I don't know. I would say the same thing if Jake was out here calling everybody else, telling everybody else they were on steroids. Right? But he hasn't done that. So I was just saying, listen, probably not the greatest idea if you don't have your house in order to throw stones across the way. Especially if you don't have any proof for it. Because we got proof that the guy's on your promotion, a dude in your gym, the gym that you train at is testing hot. And I'm not talking hot, I'm talking rocket fuel hot, bro. Did we see, by the way, again, this is nothing to do directly with JJ. This is not an accusation that JJ has taken PEDs at all. But as the CEO of the company, who cares about PED usage, this motherfucker was 34-to-1 T/E ratio, testosterone to epitestosterone ratio in a normal individual, around 4-to-1. The man was 7 to 8 times hotter than he should have been. And granted, the PBA rightfully come out and put this out. I've called them a clown show before, and they've done clown show stuff before. Right? But dude, this is the second time it's happened. Probably not the greatest idea to be throwing out the accusation until you get the house in order over there. That was the entire point of the tweet. The only thing I've said is, why are we not getting these results back quick? But I have a feeling that's something to do with the way that these tests are administered, and also I would assume, and I can't prove this, but the amount of money it costs to take certain tests that are probably more invasive and would turn around quicker. I said that. Everybody lost their mind. Bias, Wade, Snake, the usual stuff that comes out when I happen to pop out and show people just a different opinion on how that kind of stuff looks, right? It wouldn't look good if Jake was doing it. It wouldn't look good if Nikisa was doing it. I don't think it looks good when KSI and Mams are doing it. And again, this was not bait. I was not trying to get into a Twitter war. I really wasn't. I was just like, hey man, probably not a good idea. You know what I'm saying? Could I have left it alone? Probably. But when I'm interested in talking about something, I'm going to talk about it. I have no filter to leave things alone if I'm interested in speaking about it. I don't think I should either. Mams hits this reply. I always say Dan's name wrong. It's either Raphael or Raphael. Tweet from May 15th, 2013 that Jalen Love fails drug test. The details of which I told you guys was a diuretic. I believe, I can't prove, but I believe. Now, outside of the fact that this has nothing to do with the actual topic at hand, it doesn't, like Jalen doesn't fight anymore. He's in Jake's camp, but he's not fighting on Jake's cards, and that's neither here nor there. Mam's tweeting this proves exactly what it is that I'm saying. If Jake was coming out and talking about people being on drugs and all this and having drugs as PD users and whatever else, and he had a guy in camp that got popped, you would have to say the same thing, right? Even though this situation's a little different, Jay Leon's not fighting, but still, you'd have to be like, yo, you probably shouldn't do that if you got people, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, again, throwing stones in a glass house. So I don't know what Mam's point was there, but, you know, the ratios come out, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about Arms' testosterone to epitestosterone ratio. It ain't no 34-to-1. I was getting bodied here, bro. I was getting bodied more than Arms' natural testosterone was. This is when I just responded with what I thought was a coherent sentence. It turned out it wasn't. How you don't realize showing makes my point is shocking. We forgot a word, bro. And then I told him to reread, and then if he tries to reread, it doesn't work. So I got bodied here, bro. You know, this was not my greatest penmanship, you know? So I knew as soon as I hit send, and by the way, I sent this, thought I fixed it, and then sent it again, and you guys that follow me on Twitter know that I spell things wrong all the time. So I just was like, F it, I'm not gonna resend it again. So he caught me here. He caught me. I know, I need to install Grammarly. He caught me with this one. Still trying to reread this one. Makes no sense unless I read it with my dad's foreign accent. It's pretty good. But, you know, I'm trying to get back to the point at hand. Right? Like, yo, if you're tweeting this as the response, then you don't get what I'm trying to tell you. And again, the fact that Mam's even responded to it, I thought was like, all right, bro, like, you guys aren't getting it. You're not getting what I'm trying to tell you. It's not a great look to be pointing the finger across the pond and be like, all right, that guy might be on PEDs when dudes are on actual PEDs in the promotion that you have. And they're fighting. And again, we'll get to some other stuff in a second, but it's like, you shouldn't be doing that because it makes you look like you don't really care that the man's on PEDs, that you're just trying to make a point when it's going on behind your back. You know what I'm saying? I said, and I'm trying to be a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get a little zest back in there. I'm trying to get a little spice back in the conversation. I got to dig back, you feel me? The old Twitter post leaves out a word. Address that instead of the response. For reference, this is what I was trying to say. I f***ed it up when I put it in quotes again, dude. This is how I knew I was cooked. I f***ed it up when I put it in quotes again, bro. How do you don't realize this showing? I meant to say showing this makes my point is shocking. Reread and try again, bro. This is going to be a new meme for me. Reread and try again. I'm going to see that shit all over my Twitter. I know I am. So, and then I go on to explain, as in, it's probably not a great look for KSI, or for you, for that matter, to be accusing people of being on steroids. Not when fighters fighting on your promotion and the one in his gym have gotten caught using PEDs. Jake accusing KSI of being juiced would get the same response. That's the smartest thing to do, and I meant to say not, unless you have proof. I need to take a day off of Twitter, dude. I'm all over the place. I'm trying to build this wall, Trump style, while this is going on, bro. Looking back, I'm like, what the is happening? So anyway, Mam says, not accusing anyone, but maybe you can have a look for needle marks for us next time your nose is up there. So essentially saying, I'm brown-nosing Jake Paul, right? It was a good joke. It was nice. It was a solid joke, bro. Got me with that one. Then I just decided to ask a question that I had a feeling wouldn't get a response, and even as this video goes out, probably will not get a response. But I thought I'd ask the question. I said, hey, that's a good one. I'll give you that. But since I guess you've opened this dialogue about PEDs and testing, I'm curious, has everyone that has fought on Misfits been drug tested? It's a simple question, because if you care about the drug testing or about people being on PEDs, surely you would test everybody on your cards. But that was kind of the whole point I was making, because it seemed like there was a, you know, even if it was an offhand joke from KSI, I've seen this be a reoccurring theme when it comes to like, oh, Jake might be using, he might be using. Well, you know, he's drug tested every fight. He hasn't been ever popped on any of his drug tests, WADA or otherwise. So I don't know what the issue was there, but again, did I have to cover it? Maybe not. And I apologize if I got people in their feelings about saying anything about it, but it just felt like something to me that was like, oh, you probably shouldn't do that when you got this whole thing going on right now that no one's talking about, but it's clearly right there in front of everybody's face. You know what I mean? That was all I meant to say by it. But again, you start going back and forth with me. I'm gonna ask a question that no one asked. So there's that. Once again, people don't believe me, but I truly don't hate Mams or KSI. There never has been any hate there. Like, sure, we'll take little pot shots back and forth, and I'm sure they don't have a great feeling about the way I speak about some of the stuff they do, and that's okay. They can feel that way. But hope they live happy and healthy lives. That's it. You guys let me know, how badly did I get cooked on Twitter today? When will I be inspecting Jake's asshole next? When will I get an answer to my question? I don't have those answers, but I guess we'll find out.